Hello dear students, I am going to give you the workbook solutions of the Great Automatic Grammatizator in this session. This is video number 1. This is a video on request and I will need multiple videos to cover the entire series of questions from your workbooks. This is a lengthy story and do check the pinned comment section for the line by line explanation videos 1 and 2 of this short story. Today we are going to discuss 4 very important question and answers, and the first one is a 10 marks answer, a long answer question. Describe how appropriate is the title of the story, The Great Automatic Grammatizator. So here we will have to mention the significance of the title as well as how appropriate is the title. We'll have to focus on both these aspects. The title of Roald Dahl's short story, The Great Automatic Grammatizator, is unique, suggestive, and arouses the curiosity of the readers. Dear boys and girls, see, I have marked 1, 2, and 3. What are these points? Well, these are the critical comments. Compulsory, add critical comments in your answer, and the introductory statement, the introduction is very important. तो मैंने क्या लिखा है? ये जो टाइटल है, ये टाइटल यूनिक है, ये स्ट्रेंज एक टाइटल है, मगर ये टाइटल सजेस्टिव है, मीनिंगफुल है, and it arouses the curiosity of the readers. पहले हम जब ये टाइटल पढ़ते हैं तो हम क्यूरियस हो जाते हैं किसके बारे में है ये स्टोरी. लेट्स रीड. सो इट इज एप्ट. एप्ट का क्या मतलब है? इट इज अप्रोप्रिएट एंड रेफर्स टू द मशीन. मशीन इज अ कैरेक्टर इन दिस स्टोरी. बिसाइड्स एडोल्फ नाइप, मिस्टर बोलिन, मशीन इज ऑल्सो अ की कैरेक्टर इन दिस स्टोरी. और वो कैसे? It is apt and refers to the machine, the first of its kind. पहले ऐसा कोई मशीन बाजार में नहीं आया था. In fact, this is the first of its kind, hence it is great. जो टाइटल में great यूज किया गया है वर्ड रोअल्ड डाल द्वारा, ये क्यों है? To suggest that it is the first of its kind and therefore a wonder. This is there in the text. I have quoted from the text. So use textual reference. Textual reference is also compulsory. तो textual references हमें डालना है, critical comments हमें डालना है, और हमें एक powerful introduction से शुरुआत करनी है. Come on. An engine built along the lines of the electric computer with the ability to arrange the words instead of numbers in their right order according to the rules of grammar. Now this is there in the text. It is able to produce any type of story, novels and stories, simply by pressing the required button, that is automatically and also in bulk. So automation, mechanization, and also in bulk, mass production of stories and novels. This is the purpose of the machine. The Great Automatic Grammatizator क्या है? ये machine है. And what is the purpose of this machine? Mass production of literary works of art and also use of automation in writing stories and novels. तो ये कैसे possible है? Why? We will see as we read the answer. Change paragraphs. Always change paragraphs. Next paragraph. The term grammatizator, देखो मैंने कैसे फ्रेम किया है ये आंसर. पहले मैंने ग्रेट वर्ड को एक्सप्लेन किया, फिर मैं यहाँ पे grammatizator इस वर्ड को एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ. The term grammatizator is a made up word that sounds like a combination of grammar and computer. Herein lies the proficiency of Roald Dahl. This is the author. He is the author and he is a proficient author. जिस तरह उन्होंने टाइटल को यूज किया है वो क्या दिखाता है कि रोअल्ड डाल बहुत एक प्रोफिशिएंट स्टोरी राइटर है, एक बहुत उम्दा स्टोरी टेलर है. So Grammatizator, grammar and computer. The apparently delicious idea of a machine for writing stories is impracticable. Yet Adolph Knipe makes it a practical possibility. Quotations. Use short quotations in your answer. Indeed, the first full year of the machine's operation is a satisfactory beginning. At least one half of all the novels and stories published in English language are produced by Adolph Knipe upon the great automatic grammatizator, जो ये title है. And in this way, in a logical manner, one after the other, I am arranging my points to establish the point that here the automatic grammatizator is very, very important. His literary agency becomes famous for its large stable of promising young novelists. Students, I have used a number of quotations from the text, but be very careful. Always use correct quotations in your answers. Otherwise, marks will be deducted. तो यहाँ पे मैंने great explain कर दिया है, grammatizator explain कर दिया है और in brief machine को भी explain कर दिया है. So this is just a 10 marks answer. You cannot write everything. There are many other important points, but you will have to frame your answer, arrange the points judiciously, wisely. So let's see the next. Let's read the next paragraph. All his life, the inventor. तो इस machine का great automatic grammatizator का एक inventor भी है और वो कौन है? Inventor है Knipe. और इस inventor का एक purpose था life में और ये क्या है? He wanted to be a writer and had no heart in being an electrical engineer. So herein comes the conflict. The title is suggestive of this conflict. एक machine और इस machine से ये inventor क्या करने वाले हैं? Stories, novels produce करने वाले हैं. And how is this even possible? The blending of machine, mechanization and literature. Literature we all know is subjective. It involves human emotions. So this is the conflict. Knipe wanted to be a writer and he had no heart in being an electrical engineer. But no one has ever, so I'll just quickly turn the page. No one has ever bought hundreds of stories written by him in the last 10 years. Yet the market is full of the sloppy, boring stuff of the other writers. So Knipe begins to look at writing as a commercial proposition. So herein lies the conflict and the gradual development of the plot. कैसे Knipe इस machine को invent करने के लिए वो सोचने लगे. कैसे उन्होंने शुरुआत किया? क्यों उन्होंने ये शुरुआत किया? He always wanted to be a writer. He always had that creative urge. 10 साल से Knipe ने कितने सारे उन्होंने स्टोरीज लिखे हैं, मगर सडनली क्या ऐसा हुआ कि उन्होंने इस मशीन को बिल्ड करने के लिए अपना मन बना लिया. एंड ऑल्सो टू सी राइटिंग एज अ कमर्शियल प्रोपोजिशन. जो टाइटल है हमें अपने और खींचता है. इज दिस जस्ट एन ऑर्डिनरी मशीन? क्या है ये द ग्रेट ऑटोमेटिक ग्रामेटाइजेटर? ग्रामर का क्या रोल है? He persuades Mr. Bolin to collaborate with him, for it is big business. One of the most important themes of this lesson is commodification of art, especially literature, literary works of art. So, within a week, Mr. Bolin is completely sold on the idea and Knipe uses his engineering expertise. वो एक engineer है, इससे automation हमें समझ आता है. He uses his engineering expertise to complete the machine in 6 months, ready for action, and this is automation, use of technology. और Knipe ये कैसे कर पाए हैं? Because of his engineering background, because of his engineering skill and expertise as an engineer. And he was a genius. He was good at it. We have read this in the story. Dear students, I usually prefer 1.5 pages or 2 pages for your 10 marks answer. But here this answer is going to be slightly lengthy because the story itself is lengthy, but adjust your length according to your suitability. Understood? So don't worry about the length. This is, I'm telling you again and again, a reference answer. मैंने सब एंगल से इस आंसर को फ्रेम किया है ताकि तुम लोग इस आंसर को पढ़ के अपने आप कुछ अच्छा फ्रेम कर पाओ. Dahl. Now, finished the explanation, the description of the machine, the purpose of the machine, the outcome, everything. Now, the critical part of it. How appropriate? The title is appropriate. ठीक है, machine के बारे में है. But how appropriate is it? Here is the answer. Dahl, however, does not simply, critical comment, simply present us with a dull descriptive account of the machine. सिर्फ ये machine ये है, वहाँ पे lever है, वहाँ पे pedal है, वहाँ पे ये है, button है, switch है. Not about that. This story is not about the dull descriptive account of the machine and its operating system. It is much more than that. He deftly uses, deftly का मतलब very skillfully, uses visual and auditory imagery, critical comment, irony, critical comment, satire, critical comment to set the tone for the story. So, he wants to prepare the readers for a cautionary tale, a morality tale about the consequences of placing profit above artistic integrity and human creativity. Again, here is another conflict. And what is the conflict? Profit versus artistic creativity. So this is another conflict. और ये title जो एक unique अटपटा सा title है is highly suggestive, highly meaningful, completely appropriate. It is a critique. This section is very, very important. Almost all lines are important. It is a critique of commodification of art, commercialization of art, literature, ready-made for sale. Ready-made stories for sale. Vyapar, its market, the economics, the dynamics of market, sale, buying and selling, trade. And Knight himself says it's big business and the money also starts rolling out once the machine starts operating properly. So, it is a critique of the commodification of art, especially literary works of art. Literature, यहाँ पे novel, short stories, that is literature, is a creative and subjective process. Dear students, very important. This section is very, very important. Don't skip. Literature is a creative and subjective process, blending emotions with originality. You need to be original in order to write a good story. Simply copy paste won't do, won't make you a successful writer. But here, Knight gradually prefers quantity over quality. वो Knight इस business में धंसने लगा. This is again the corrupting influence of money. It is all about buying and selling of literature. And again, another conflict. How is this possible? Literature, to write a good story, you need to be creative, you need to put in your emotions, you need to be original. Ironically, herein lies the irony. Knight calls the creative urge bunk. A very important quotation, bunk. Creative urge bunk. Use this. Creative urge को Knight ने क्या कहा स्टोरी में? bunk. Mr. Bolin can do a novel. Mr. Bolin एक engineer है. Even he can do a novel. So, do is important. Not write a novel, but do a novel. It's all about production, about doing activity. And what kind of activity? A mechanical, artificial activity. So, subjectivity of literature versus objectivity of machine. This is another important aspect. So, prepare the themes also for your answer, long answer question. Now, Mr. Bolin can do a novel without thinking. ज़्यादा सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Is just like learning to drive. The image of Mr. Bolin in the driver's seat exposes the trickery. This is a sham. This smacks of trickery. So, the title is also a commentary on the increasing importance of technology, mechanization in modern society and also the dangers of monopolies. Knight खुद कहते हैं, we'll buy them, we'll squeeze them, it's easy. So, सिर्फ वो लोग Knight और Knight और Mr. Bolin ही control करेंगे entire market with the help of his machine, the great automatic grammatizator. Though young Knight begins to display a real talent for big business. Now remember, he wanted to be a writer, but now he's a businessman. Mr. Bolin's words. Now, the conclusion. Again, I prefer 1.5 page or 2 pages. But here, since this is a lengthy story, I have just exceeded. So don't worry. स्टूडेंट्स खुद से डिसाइड करना क्या लिखना है क्या नहीं लिखना है. मैंने बहुत कुछ नहीं लिखा है और भी बहुत कुछ लिखना बाकी था, मगर लेंथ का भी ख्याल रखना है. देयरफॉर मिस्टर बोलिन्स वर्ड्स, केयरफुल नाउ. नाइट, बी केयरफुल. स्मॉल लेटर. foreshadows, critical comment at the end. Knight's downfall and the possible failure of the machine and the hollowness of the golden contract. What is going to be the fate of Knight? His ambition, his vaulting ambition, his greed for money. राइटर अब वो नहीं बनना चाहता है, वो एक सक्सेसफुल बिजनेसमैन बन गया है and he wants to maintain his monopoly in the market. His greed. And will all these things lead to his downfall? Will this machine fail someday? These words of Mr. Bolin, uttered by Mr. Bolin, foreshadows Knight's downfall and the possible failure of the machine and the hollowness of that golden contract. The narrator's closing words, the conclusion, always use an appropriate conclusion at the end. The narrator's closing words give us strength, O Lord, to let our children starve. Make the story an interesting and entertaining read. The title thus is meaningful. टाइटल जो है, इस यूनिक टाइटल ने हमें पूरा लेसन, पूरा जो स्टोरी है वो रीड करने के लिए हमें अपनी ओर ड्रॉ कर लिया था. एंड इन दिस स्टोरी द टाइटल, द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स, द थीम्स, the complexity, all these things make the story an interesting and entertaining read, and at the end the words of the narrator just proves that this is an interesting story. And herein lies the skill of Roald Dahl. So this is my answer. A bit lengthy but a very informative reference material. Now, quickly moving on to question number 2. What is it? The first question, it's there in your workbook, Morning Star. What did Mr. John Bolin praise Adolphe Knight for? Question number 1, subpart number 1. How did Knight react to it? Number 2, subpart and why? Number 3, 5 marks. Again, 1 page is enough. The story, The Great Automatic Grammatizator. Put it within quotes or underline the name of the story, the title. The story, The Great Automatic Grammatizator, begins with John Boleyn calling Adolph Knipe into his office to congratulate him on a job well done. So, praise, directly related to the question. Praise. What did he praise Adolph Knipe for? The former praises the latter because in the introduction itself, I have started the explanation. The reason. The former praises the latter because the building of the great automatic computing engine ordered by the government some time ago is now complete. Reason number 1. He's happy. It is probably the fastest electronic computing machine in the world at that time. It is a complex automatic computing engine that uses pulses of electricity generated at the rate of 1 million a second to solve all calculations that resolve themselves into addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. ये जो detail है वो book में है, text में है. So go through the text thoroughly. So here, what is it? This is a great scientific feat, achievement, और हम ये भी कह सकते हैं, this is a great achievement in the field of engineering and technology. So, engineering and technology इस फील्ड में ये एक ग्रेट फीट है, अचीवमेंट है. सो देयरफॉर मिस्टर बोलेन इज वेरी वेरी हैप्पी. For practical purposes, it has no limitation, and Adolph Knipe's contribution to the original plan is very crucial. Very crucial. Without Knipe's inputs, expertise and genius, this project of John Boleyn Inc. Electrical Engineers might still be on the drawing boards. Therefore, Mr. John Boleyn praises Knipe. So first, the project is complete. The project is successful. Second reason क्या है? It is a great feat. You can add this. It is a great feat. A great feat, a great achievement in the field of engineering and technology. Third reason क्या है? Adolph Knipe को ये क्यों praise कर रहे हैं? Because of his very crucial role, contribution to this project. So first section of the answer is over. And now, how did Knipe react to it? Let's see. Knipe, change paragraph. So, change paragraph for the second subpart. Knipe, however, is unenthusiastic. First reaction about the claim, remains disinterested. Second, and there is melancholy on his face. Third, he is sad. He moves his feet. So, fourth, on the carpet and thinks about how he does not like Mr. Boleyn's hands or his tiny mouth and purple colored lips. So he is disinterested. His attention is diverted. He is distracted. He is not listening to the appreciation properly. He stands sloppily, not enthusiastic, not happy at all. So we have happy, please Mr. Boleyn, versus we have Knipe, and Knipe is sad. He is detached. He stands sloppily before Mr. Boleyn. Thus he reacts in such a strange manner. So third subpart क्या है? Why? Not because of a woman, it's there in the text, but because he does not really care much for his work. Textual references, textual quotations मैंने यूज किया है 5 marks आंसर के लिए भी. So try to incorporate all the keywords and expressions in your answer. So again, 1 page, roughly 1 page for your 5 marks answer. तुम इस सेक्शन को थोड़ा कम कर सकते हो. मैंने यहाँ पे डिटेल में कह दिया है क्योंकि दिस इज अगेन अ रेफरेंस मटेरियल. यू कैन जस्ट एडिट दिस सेक्शन अ लिटिल एंड यू कैन fit the entire answer in 1 page. So next page में just वो conclusion है, वो reason है. Why does he react to it? तो length automatically adjust हो जाएगा अगर तुम वो description of the machine को थोड़ा सा edit कर लो. मैंने edit नहीं किया so that you can just have a look. So he does not care much for his work as an electrical engineer. He is good at it and is a sort of genius, valuable to the firm, but his heart is not in it. He has always wanted to be a writer, has written literally hundreds of stories, but remains unsuccessful with his works going unpublished. Thus, he stands still. Thus, his reaction, his strange reaction in front of Mr. Bolen's desk, dissatisfied and disappointed. So this is the critical comment and this is also the conclusion. एक पेज में ये हो जाएगा. अगर वहां पे थोड़ा एडजस्टमेंट तुम कर सकते हो. So we have stated how many? 3 reasons for being praised and then the reaction and also reasons for such a strange reaction. So quickly moving on to the next question. How can you say that Mr. Bolen was a considerate boss? Third question. Give 2 examples. 2 examples. There are many examples. तो हम टेक्स्ट से सिर्फ 2 examples choose करके अपना जो आंसर है उसे justify कर देंगे. John Bolen, the proprietor of John Bolen Inc. Electrical Engineers, was a considerate boss. So introductory statement में ही मैंने अपना जो standpoint है वो clear कर दिया है. It was true that Mr. Bolen considered Knight to be really valuable to the firm. He was an understanding and helpful boss also. तो वो Knight के साथ अच्छा बिहेव कर रहे थे. इसका एक रीजन ये हो सकता है कि मिस्टर बोलेन को लगता था नाइप was valuable to the firm and एक जगह उन्होंने कहा भी है he needs to be humored because he is a genius. He needed knife for the firm. मगर इसके बावजूद he was an understanding and helpful boss and here I have given 2 examples to justify why I am saying this. So I have seen in one workbook that it is written that Mr. Bolen is not considerate, not helpful. They have interpreted this from a different standpoint. But in your Morning Star workbook, they have shown Mr. Bolen as a considerate boss. And I also think the same. And 2 of my examples are, number 1, he praised Knight for his contribution in building of the great automatic computing engine. He could see Knight's unenthusiastic attitude and asked him repeatedly, "Is anything bothering you, Knight? Or aren't you pleased?" तो उन्होंने टाइम निकाल के अप्रिशिएट किया नाइट को और जब उन्हें पता चला, उन्हें लगने लगा नाइट तो डिसइंटरेस्टेड है, कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है, तो रिपीटेडली वो नाइट से पूछने लगे, इज एनीथिंग बॉदरिंग यू, एनीथिंग ऑन योर माइंड, और आरंट यू प्राउड, आरंट यू प्लीज्ड. He tried to understand Knight's problem after glancing up at the long melancholy face of the younger man. He gave Knight a vacation of 2 weeks so that he could relax and rejuvenate himself and insisted on the fact that Knight needed it. सिर्फ एक बार बोल के छोड़ नहीं दिया उन्होंने insist किया, it will do you good, you need it. Knight had earned it. Mr. Bolen asked a young man to go somewhere, get some sunshine. He said, swim, relax, sleep. They would talk about the future afterwards. This shows Mr. Bolen's relationship with Knight. He was indeed a considerate man. When Knight, now the second instance, When Knight told him of his ambition to be a writer and his multiple rejections as a writer by the publishing houses, Mr. Boleyn consoled him by saying, "Forget it, my boy." The expression "my boy" thus suggested Mr. Boleyn's concern for Knight. The expression "my boy" thus suggested Mr. Boleyn's concern for Knight. Knight was depressed and the boss understood this. So this is understood. His voice dripped, D-R-I-P-P-E-D, with sympathy and gave Knight a life lesson of everyone going through such a low phase in life. Students, so this is the second example to justify my answer. Thus, he was a considerate boss. The fourth question today, another short question. It's from the workbook. Describe briefly the salient features of the great automatic engine developed by the firm of electrical engineers led by John Boleyn. Roughly 1 page, and you will get the answer here. Take out your Prism textbook. Come to page number 41. So if you go through these sections, you will get the salient features. Write them down. This is going to be a descriptive answer, and add one critical comment at the end in the conclusion, or you can use a critical comment in the introduction. The great automatic computing engine is an achievement in the field of engineering and technology, highlighting the importance of automation in modern times. So this is a critical comment. Dear students, we will continue in video number